Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. Welcome to our October coffee break. We decided that we were going to do monthly webinars because we heard back from you all that you wanted some time for some networking and for some sharing of best practices. So this is a quick, kind of down and dirty time for you guys to talk amongst yourselves. We have a couple updates for you, and I'm going to get the show on the road. Let's see. First, if you are just joining us, please go ahead and rename yourself. You can add a letter P in front or a letter C in front if you're a cohort school. Okay. I think you guys are Zoom experts by now. I just wanted to do a quick introduction to my teammates. They're here. You guys can unmute yourself and say hello if you'd like.
Hey everybody, Annie Pocklington here.
Hey, Dan Ash here.
Buffy Hatcher.
Marcy's muted, so Kelly Keeney.
And Marcy is here as well. We're going to move on because we have a lot to cover and I want to make the most of our time. But welcome, Marcy, and welcome you all. So we're not going to take turns and unmute each other right now. But what I would love to do for a little icebreaker fun, because everybody loves icebreakers. I know, I'm just kidding, cringe. Is since everybody is serving seniors right now, I thought of senior superlative. If you happen to remember if you were assigned a senior or voted a senior superlative back in the day, go ahead and type that in the chat box or feel free to get creative. For example, I was voted class clown in high school and my twin was voted most likely to succeed. But if I was going to vote now, I would vote that I am most likely to have like a third cup of cold brew right now. So go ahead, it could be something funny. Type that in the chat box. Let's get to know each other, see who's here. Adrian's the same. Oh, we have a lot of class clowns. That's interesting. Oh, Marcy's a goody two shoes. Should have known that. Yep. All right, well, Buffy, I don't believe that. You just get along with everyone.
I thought I liked adults. I just was nice, got homework done. I was mortified.
All right, well, we'll keep on moving through the presentation. So today, what we're going to cover is a few updates, touch base on some admission resources. We're going to talk a little bit about the flow of what these webinars will look like throughout the year. And then we'll have some time for you guys to talk with each other. So first off, with program updates, and no worries, I know there's lots of words on here. You don't have to really pay attention to them all. And I will also be sending out the PowerPoint after the event that has some links in there, so you don't have to take furious notes or anything. But the first thing that I wanted to cover is around the Common App and fee waivers. So one thing that's new in Washington State is that a lot of the public 4 years are using the Common App for the first time. And you know, a lot of our students will qualify for fee waivers in the admissions process. And typically it's through FERPL status. However, the Common App, in their language that the guidance that they give around fee waiver eligibility, it does indicate that if a student is a participant in TRIO or Gear Up or Upward Bound, that sort of program, then they do qualify for a fee waiver. And so that means that you cohort schools that are serving students who may or may not be FERPL eligible, those students would qualify for this fee waiver. And so we reached out for clarification, and they will honor Gear Up as meeting that criteria. So that means your students do qualify for fee waivers if they're using the Common App, even if they're not FERPL eligible. So we'll send out some more information so you can see that, but this section that's bolded, that's the part that counts, that they are part of Gear Up. Next up, I wanted to talk about a new program in Washington State that's called Guaranteed Admissions, or the acronym is GAP, which I know can be confusing because we're talking about admissions and you might be thinking about gap year. So I didn't name it. You can tell, I'll let you know the email of the person you can write complaints to. But for guaranteed admissions, this applies to the public 4 years. And students are guaranteed admission to those schools if they meet the following criteria. So if they have higher than a 3.0, if they've met the CATRs, and if their school is participating in this program. So I have the links. Again, I'll be sending this out. But that means that if they meet that criteria, then they are guaranteed admissions. Now, that doesn't mean if a student doesn't meet that criteria that they can't apply. They still can apply to those schools. However, they would have to do the general admission route, just like prior to this program existing. And so this applies again to Central, Eastern, Evergreen, Western, and Wazoo. And it's really focused on the 11th and 12th graders. And I believe that the institutions that are participating will be messaging juniors about this as an option, and hey, like, get on track and think about applying next year, or participating in this next year. So I do have, again, more links for you that I will be sending out. But the website, the Council of Presidents, is the host of this website, and they do have a social media toolkit on their site list, and it contains a lot of really cool looking graphics, and also a toolbox for counselors and for students and families. So you can check that out and steer students to that page if they are still working on their admission. And next, Annie had a couple of 7th year updates, so I'm going to hand it off to her.
Awesome. Thanks, Beth. You can go ahead and flip to the next slide for me. Awesome. Thank you. So I just want to pop on. You're going to see a lot of me popping on with this reminder, but I think it's good that we really start to, even though we're just at the start of senior year, start to orient ourselves to the fact that 7th year is coming up and coming up quick. So as a reminder, I know we gave this information in the spring, but again, we just want to keep reiterating it so you guys are very aware of where Gear Up support will be in the 7th year. But these are the 11 campuses where we will have peer mentors and a regional coordinator connected to, so that students are receiving continued Gear Up support into the 7th year. So if a student isn't going to one of these 11 campuses, they can still absolutely receive Gear Up support. It will just look a little bit different. So as a reminder, these institutions were selected because the majority of our students go to them. So again, we're going to have peer mentors and regional coordinators connected individually to each one of these campuses. And this is just a reminder to you that this is the list. So when you're talking to students and they're telling you about their plans, now's a great time to start referencing the fact that Gear Up support will follow them into the 7th year. And we're really excited about connecting them to peers that have a lot of college going information and are very similar to them, and then regional coordinators who and work with regularly that are going to be a great support to them as well. So we don't have a ton of time to chat about 7th year stuff today, but if you do have questions or comments, please feel free to email me. And yes, Spokane Community College, that should be the community college system. So both Spokane Community College and Spokane Falls. So anyways, yeah, shoot me an email if you have any questions, but just want to keep reiterating this and make sure we're starting to talk to our students about the support that will be available to them in the 7th year.
Thank you, Annie. That's great. And to be mindful of time, I'm just going to point out again, sending this out. I know this is admission season, and I just want to remind folks that gearup.wa.gov has a variety of resources. It acts as a clearinghouse of resources. The two main audiences are students and families, and then educators. So on here, you see a list of resources for both of those audiences. Check them out when you have time. And next, I wanted to talk really quickly about the flow for how we see these webinars moving forward. What we would like to do in the future months, starting in November, is use this time to have 1 or 2 schools each month do a 7-14-28 presentation. For those of you who haven't done those in the past with us, that means that it's a quick fire presentation on a specific topic. You have 7 minutes to present or less. You have 14 or fewer slides, and you use a big font, 28-point font. So it's really like a little bit of a PowerPoint, and really you're just sharing some best practices around a specific topic. And so, for example, if we decide in January that we wanted to talk about scholarships, it would be great to have a school who could share an activity or an event that they did with students and families that went well, and here's why, and here's how we did it, quick fire. Or if you tried something and it didn't work, and you can share that and lessons learned. And this is why we think we didn't get very many participants, and use it as a problem solving time. So it can be either or. It's a judgmental free zone. It's sort of a time to just figure out what would work best in your school. And so I'll be sending out, after this event, I'll be sending out a survey or a link where you can sign up for which month and which topic you're interested in presenting on. It would be great if we could have all schools present at some point throughout the year based on their comfort level around the topic. And again, it's it could be it went well, or even it would be even better if kind of a scenario. So now we only have about 15 minutes left, and I wanted to give you guys some time to talk to each other. We're going to do an open space session where we're going to break out. I'm not going to go into all the rules of open space, but really you have the choice to choose which topic you're interested in going to. And if you want to go to multiple topics, you are able to. You could go to one and then leave after a period of time and go to another one. And whatever happens, happens. You're just, there's no real agenda. It's your choice. I did, normally we would create the topics together, but for sake of time, I came up with 4 topics that I thought were most likely to be topics that you would want to talk about. And then I have one room, I have a space for another topic if anyone had one that they wanted to throw out. So if you do have one, you can unmute yourself or put it in the chat box and we could maybe add it. Okay, so I'm not seeing any. So what I think we're going to do is you should be able to see the breakout rooms. If my team could help me out, because my screen looks quite different than the participant screen. If one of you could confirm this for me, the bottom of your screen, I believe you should see a breakout room tab where you can select your breakout room.
I'm not sure they were created, Beth, but I can create some right now. I can create 4 rooms.
Oh, I have them created. Oh, do you see them now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you should be able to choose the topic that you would like to go to. And I will, if you go to that room, I will give you a warning before we can convene back and do a little debrief. And then that's the end of today. And again, next month, we're going to focus on 7-14-28 presentations. If any questions?
I think folks just need to start selecting into those breakout rooms if they haven't already.
And it's not going to be video recorded, so you can talk freely in those rooms. Right now, it looks like most people are going into financial aid, admissions, and student engagement.
Beth, do you have a place that you'd like each of us to go?
It would just be nice to cover the rooms so that, you know, we can ensure things are kind of.
I'm going to student and family engagement.
That sounds like a good fit.
I'll join financial aid.
Thank you.
Where would you like me, Beth? Or do you want me to? stay with
Kelly?
you?
Would you right now go to the TBD one and find out? Oh, Kelly's there too.
Hey, Beth, can I follow up on a quick question that we had in the breakout room that I was just about to answer?
Yes.
Yes, Ryan, they would appeal to the institution, but not until they got their award letter in the spring. So they would need to see what they were awarded, and then that's when the appeal process would start.
Perfect, thank you.
And then I just want to make sure everyone looks at the chat to see the update about the gap year participation, that it is closed for this year. But if your school wants to participate for next year, you need to send an email to Julie Garver, and her email is in that chat.
And also, if you go to the website, it has a list of the schools if you're unsure, and it has some more information on how to get your school involved as well, like Marcy said. So, all right. Well, welcome back. I know that wasn't a long chunk of time to talk, but I wanted to be mindful of the schedule. I was wondering if anybody wanted to, we could maybe have folks from each group, maybe one person from each group might be able to share out a takeaway or something that is on their mind, or a topic that they think we should cover in the 7-14-28. If you do, go ahead and unmute yourself or go ahead and put it in the chat box. And if not, maybe my teammates could share some things that they were hearing.
Well, we were in the other room, so us other people just talked about general stuff. Had a little chat with East Valley about they're working on their graduation rate and getting those numbers up, increasing their FAFSA account, and sounds like some really good work is going on there. And then and Jeff was talking about that they just got their new coordinator all set up and how that transition has been going. And so we're excited to have her on board as well. Welcome, Carla.
And in the financial aid group, we talked about a variety of things. Folks are out there doing financial aid nights and getting folks, you know, in the groove of financial aid. So nice work to everyone who's hosting those events or looking forward to them. And then we also just talked about some common barriers. So we talked about parents, you know, refusing information, maybe not wanting to give up information. And I have a follow-up from Christina that I just got that I'm going to share out to the group that I think would be helpful. So the question we were talking about is what happens when a parent doesn't want to give information for the financial aid application. And Christina says students and parents can, and these are for folks who are generally eligible for financial or for the FAFSA. If the parent doesn't want to give information to the federal government, the student can apply for the WASFA. However, they still do have to submit parent information for the WASFA. However, you may be able to make some progress with a parent who's unwilling to give their information to the federal government by talking about the WASFA as, you know, specific to Washington State and information not going beyond Washington State and just being used for financial aid. So I don't know. I know that there's still a barrier there, but I just wanted to get that answer out to folks. But parent info is still needed.
Mm-hmm. And that also goes for students who may be eligible for their FAFSA, but they have mixed status families, and they don't want to share that information as well.
in the student and family engagement breakout, Ryan Dowse was sharing out that they're prepping up for a big family engagement night and trying to nail down FSA IDs. They've got about 85 students who are signed up. And then when those folks come in to that night, they're going to break out into particular pathways. So I like how they're really thinking ahead. And Ryan, hop in here if I'm missing anything. Erin was also sharing that they're doing a Latinx family night coming up. And what I really loved about what she said was they're not going to do sit and get. So they're going to break out into tables in a family style format. They're going to have students facilitate those discussions at their tables, which is pretty cool. And shout out to Mansfield, and Brenda is a new Gear Up coordinator. She's getting ready to do her first family night coming up here. So pretty excited about that. And our folks from NACEL were in there just talking about some of the issues of a small school, juxtaposed to having Ryan out there with hundreds of kids and the cell being on the smaller side. So we had a good exchange of information there. And feel free, anyone in our breakout, if you want to hop in and add anything.
Yeah, both the large schools and the small schools have their own unique challenges. So it's not like one is better than the other. So definitely unique circumstances. So anyone have anything else to add? All right. Well, again, I appreciate you all for taking the time to be here. I hope that moving forward, the 714-20H presentations will be a meaningful exchange and time for you guys to network and hear about best practices and lessons learned. And if it isn't working after we try it out, a few months, or if you have other suggestions, feel free to contact me. I want to best serve you guys. I want to make the most of the time that we have together. So let me know what you need. And I will be sending out this PowerPoint and the sign-up sheet and all of those resources. So we are here to support you, and thank you, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see everybody.